So, folks, I have long been telling you guys Donald Trump's mind is cooked. It's gone. It's mush. It is in the garbo. It's already several sheets into the wind towards the grave. And like we're seeing some weird stuff happening. Like we're seeing far worse cognitive functioning than we ever saw under Joe Biden, and it was pretty bad under Joe Biden. Okay, we are beyond that now. There are signs going up in the White House, and I don't know how to put this. They're putting like just paper signs outside of different rooms of the White House. You're in the White House. And I do want to point out here that one of the commonly done things for folks who have dementia or whose brains are going, sour, is that they need to see rooms that are labeled. This is real. This isn't like photoshopped. I thought it was photoshopped too when I first saw it. What this indicates to me is that Donald Trump is getting lost at the White House. Like he's getting lost inside of his own house. And obviously that's a awful, horrible sign of things right now. But you have him also being told by his advisors that like, oh, you need to go. The Supreme Court is hearing arguments today. They're hearing arguments today. They're hearing arguments against your use of tariffs. You gotta go out and do an interview with friendly media and defend the tariffs. And like they prop this big sweaty boy up and they send him in front of a camera and then he says stuff like this.
Yeah.
You're saying you're happy with what you came out of it.
If I didn't have tariffs, we would right now, the entire world would be in a depression. Because, that wasn't a threat against us. That was a threat against the entire world. I did this for the world. But,
You're saying
let's follow that train of thought. He tried to benefit the world by imposing a unilateral tax on Americans. That doesn't make sense. You taxed the American public to make our purchases more expensive. And that was to benefit the world in what way? That's the thing, right? Like anytime he's on screen and he gives an answer like that, I want so desperately
we are so back
for someone to ask a follow-up. Like how does that save the world from a depression? Like how does that work exactly? Like his mind is going and like becoming more rotten by the day. That doesn't make any sense. And when folks, when your brain starts to go, sometimes you get delusions of grandeur like this. And granted, he's always had these, but like, they're so much worse now. They're so much worse than what they were even, a handful of years ago. Also, Abzu, thank you for the $5 super chat and for the 5 gifted memberships over on YouTube. Very much appreciated. It's this entire endeavor here of propping him up and making him seem like a person is being done with the compliance of media, obviously. It's why he's sticking to Fox News so much these days. It's why CBS had to edit over 30 minutes out of his 60 Minutes interview. But this is what I really wanted to talk about today. This is what I really wanted to talk about. I went I've never seen anything like this. Here's Donald Trump trying to talk about Miami, and I want to stress here he has teleprompters. I want to stress here he has teleprompters that he is reading from. With that being said, here we go.
To those places. For generations, Miami has been a haven for those fleeing communist tyranny in South Africa. I mean, if you take a look at what's going on in parts of South Africa, look at South Africa, what's going on. Look at South America, what's going on. You know, I'm not going to, we have a G20 meeting in South Africa. South Africa shouldn't even be in the Gs anymore because what's happened there is bad. I'm not going. I told them I'm not going. I'm not going to represent our country there. It shouldn't be there. Take a look at what's happening in different parts of South America. Take a look at what's happening in different parts of the world. But now the Democrats to those places.
People started laughing at him. You heard people laugh there. He's addressing like a bunch of like business people. Like you see the teleprompters right here. He's reading from a script, and he's talking about Miami being a haven from communist South Africa. Like, even being charitable here, because you see him a couple times attempt to read it correctly, South America, but then he keeps defaulting back to South Africa. But like communist South America, like he's talking about Cuba. Miami is associated with Cuba, like refugees from Cuba, Cuban communism. Like that's what Miami is known for. And I think his brain is just, the neurons aren't firing right. Maybe his eyesight is going too, but like, I think that there's like some kind of cognitive thing where he can't read properly anymore. Like the associations are broken. Because what I'm trying to convey here is that if you take it together with like, and you can watch videos on my channel, I've talked about his miniature strokes that he's been suffering from, the drooping of one side of his face extensively across several days, his unexplained MRI. Like, guys, he has brain damage. He has brain damage, and he can no longer recognize where he is inside of the place that he's lived before. Like, he's lived in the White House for 4 years previously. Like, he doesn't know where the Oval Office is anymore. Like, say what you want about Joe Biden, but as far as I know, there weren't any signs that he was getting lost in the White House. Like, he a mumbler for sure. Unable to articulate some of his points, sure. Like, occasionally getting confused during speeches, or seeming like he's about to drop, fade off into a sleep, sure. But Donald Trump makes Biden look perfectly coherent by comparison, and like that shouldn't be possible considering how bad Biden was. Like, what stage of dementia are we at? No idea. We're at the brain cooked stage. We're at the getting lost in familiar spaces stage. Like, I just, this guy is deciding global policy and our domestic situation, and like it's intolerable. So there you have it. Just an update on the status of the President of the United States. And I guess I'll tack on here that the arguments before the Supreme Court today regarding Trump's tariff powers went really, really well. The DOJ got tongue lashed by basically the entire Supreme Court. Even Neil Gorsuch like really went in on the DOJ's representation, and I find that the days of Donald Trump wielding unilateral tariff power are nearing their conclusion. So, the Chief Justice Neil Gorsuch, the left-leaning justices, Amy Coney Barrett also seemed very vehemently opposed to these things. So it's I would expect to see some curtailment of tariff powers. That being said, they did point the administration in the direction of temporary measures for tariffing that would cap tariffs at like 15%. So you wouldn't on the bright side, you wouldn't see any more of these 100% tariffs, 10,000% tariffs, but it's all just the fact that we're even here in the first place is indicative of this man's mental decline. So, that being said, let's move on.
Riverboat deck is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, dating, plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.